All right, people. It's time. We've already taken care of Puppet Skin Nation. But now it's time to address the Cleveland Browns right now and what I've seen on that football field. Once again, the Cleveland Browns came out at home, ill-equipped, unprepared to play offensively at home. I don't know what it is about Brandon Weeden, but he cannot play the game at home. He's straight up terrible. He's straight up garbage. Now, they had me fooled, and I actually can say Brandon Weeden hasn't looked good against Baltimore in a rainstorm when he looked good in that rainstorm, this and that. Other than that, he hasn't looked good. So I was willing to ride the season out with him, maybe make some improvements. However, I seen Kirk Cousins come in today in limited playing time. Limited playing time. What, maybe 20 snaps all year? And outperform Brandon Weeden on every level on the road. And Brandon Weeden has so-called superior talented players around him. We know our receivers are better. However, Trent Richardson, and I want to say something real quick to Tom Heckert. You get outstanding draft picks. However, the first round this year of Trent Richardson, who's what, 2.2 averages, whatever, he's a goal line back. You can't sustain drives with him. And Brandon Weeden have been poor. Have been poor to say the least. And Pat Shermer, were you a deer in the headlights caught all game? Why in the fuck did you call a timeout with like 12 seconds left at half, right before half? Well, there was no reason to. I was hoping Washington would have broke a long run or threw the ball down the field, got an interference call, and kicked the field goal. Because that was the stupidest thing I ever seen. Once again, this team was not prepared to play, at home especially. We ain't ready to play at home. Against Buffalo, we weren't. This game, the San Diego game, hell, it took us forever to get ready. You just get this team, they ain't prepared to play. So I actually thank God that this actually happened right now. Brandon Weeden, he locks on the receivers. He holds the ball too long. He's gun shy back to this and that. Somewhere down the line during the season, after the one game here and there, what the Colts game, this and that, he plays better on the road for some reason. And if you go back and look at all his stats on the road, he looks better in the pocket. He just plays better on the road. But somewhere down the line, Brandon Weeden just became obsolete. So we need a quarterback next year. And that's why we should have signed a goddamn veteran. And at what point, I seen this in the first quarter. I called my brother up. I said, you know what, man? This cat ain't got it. Take him out. It was like 8 minutes left in the first quarter. We would have had a chance to win the game. They were the 31st ranked pass defense, and you couldn't do nothing. At what point don't you put in Colt McCoy, who I don't like, who's not an NFL starting quarterback, but you know what? He couldn't have played any worse than Brandon Weeden. At what point don't you do that, Pat Shermer? The bottom line, Pat Shermer, you are pathetic excuse for a head coach. In fact, I don't even know if you're an offensive coordinator. Because you know what? From what I see, every other rookie quarterback comes in there, and their offensive coordinators tailor the game to their rookie quarterback. What do? You got to run my offense. If you don't run my offense, I'm going to make you look bad out there. You got to run my offense. You're a joke. So Jimmy Haslam, I may have said a few bad things about you and Joe Banner on Twitter lately because I'm quite frustrated. But you know what? Welcome, Joe Banner. Do whatever you got to do. Leave the defense intact. Leave the skilled players intact, except Trent Richardson. Try to trade him for a 4th or 5th round draft pick, whatever. Get rid of Weeden, this and that. Get rid of Shermer. I mean, he sealed his fate today. That's the only good thing about it. The good thing about today is we learned about Trent Richardson. He's a goal line back, nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is ever going to be. Short yardage back, get you a yard here, this and that. Tough yard by the goal line. But to sustain a drive during the game, no. Brandon Weeden is inept, clueless behind the line of scrimmage. He's terrible. And Pat Shermer is like this, a deer in the headlights, waiting to get run over by a truck. The Browns, right? The defense, people say, well, the defense gave up 38 points. Well, whatever, I don't even know. I quit watching the game. The defense on the field, they were tired in the third quarter because it was 3 and out. I mean, we get the ball back at halftime. Brandon Weeden can't see nobody. Throws an interception. Throws downfield interception. Snaps the ball, holds on too long. 4th and 3, what's he do? Fumbles the ball out of bounds, whatever. We had a chance to put this team away. And I can tell when we play at home, we're terrible. For some reason, this team cannot play at home. And that's why, Pat Shermer, you're fired. Brandon Weeden, you're released. And Trent Richardson, you're being traded for a 4th or 5th round, whatever. You can't run. You can't get tough yards in this NFL. The only players I like on offense are our tight ends and our receivers. I like all our tight ends, receivers, offensive line, this, that. But Brandon Weeden, Trent Richardson, and Pat Shermer got to go. I don't care about Heckert no more. Don't really care. So, I mean, this is a winnable game. 1st pass defense in the National Football League. And Brandon Weeden, you look like a damn idiot back there. Holding on to the ball, taking pass. You can't. You're gun shy. You're tentative. So, you are the reason we lost this game. I mean, this is why we should have signed a veteran quarterback early this year. We should have signed a veteran quarterback before training camp. And Pat Shermer, I mean, after 13 weeks with Brandon Weeden, you think this kid will kind of get it, this and that. But after what? 3 quarters, you still didn't have Colt McCoy, and I would have took Colt McCoy in the first quarter. Brandon Weeden, I am unfollowing you on Twitter. I tried having your back. I defended you, this and that. When everybody else said you were horrible, and you know what? Guess what? You are! You are! You're terrible. There's nothing I can say to defend you anymore. You played about as bad as football as I've ever seen in the National Football League. And believe me, I've seen some pathetic Browns quarterback performances in the last 13 or 14 years since they came back in 99. Believe me, I've seen the Spurgeon wins. I've seen the fucking Jeff Garcias. I've seen the Bruce Kozlowski, whatever his name is, Bob Gronkowski. I've seen that. I've seen the fucking Derek Andersons. God, did I see some of the bad ones there. I've seen the Kelly Holcombs. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. But you possibly have played the worst game of football that I've ever seen in my life. You're gunshot. Now, I don't know what the reason is. On the road, you ain't like that, but at home, you are. And it's a result of Pat Shurmur. You hold on to the ball long, pat, 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 pat. Hey, it goes. So, one thing good about the Browns fans, I almost made a video saying to retain, I was going to say to make it retain everybody. I think I did. Now I want the defensive staff stayed, the offensive talent stayed, and the rest of the not the players, but Heckert, I don't care if he stays or not. Shurmur, Weeden, and Richardson, let's try to unload them on somebody. Let's try to give Richardson a load next week, give him like 50 carries, maybe he can get maybe 35 yards, make it look pretty decent for him, and we can just trade him to some unsuspecting team that wants a high-profile, garbage goal line back that can get you a touchdown when you get inside the 1-yard line. Because as a quarterback, running back, this kid's terrible. So, the Browns, you're just, not the Browns. Weeden, Shurmur, and Richardson, you guys are clueless. The receivers, did you see the receivers' attitude on the Browns right now? They were so mad because, you know what? They're catching balls behind them. I thought it was Colt McCoy. So anyway, this is embarrassing. It's not even worth to get mad about it. I got my Patriots later on tonight to watch, but this is one of the most embarrassing performances. I mean, we should have won this game. Imagine the funny thing about it is, if we go to Denver next, well, we play better on the road, but when we go to Denver next week, how ugly is it going to be? How the fuck ugly is it going to be? So, as a Browns fan right now, this is as low as it gets. What we thought was our mighty savior, 29-year-old. Everyone told me he's 29 years old, this and that. I kept defending him, saying, yeah, whatever. He's all right, this and that. He sucks. I seen the light. He's garbage. I accept it. Brandon Weeden's a terrible quarterback. In fact, I don't even think he should be in the NFL next year for the simple fact is, who the hell wants a 29-year-old backup? So if any team takes him, whatever, give him away. It's over, Browns fans. We got to hope this Haslam and Banner save us. And somebody get this video to Banner and Haslam. I'm tired of this shit. Sign a veteran quarterback at least next year if you draft somebody in a draft. Sign a veteran to teach him. Enough of this Brandon Weeden learn on the job with Pat Shurmur. Whatever. So that is what it is. At least we got the enjoyment of making Puppet Skin Nation dance because as of right now, as you're a Browns fan, there's nothing you can look at in this game and say anything positive about it other than the fact that because of us, the Redskins now have 2 quarterbacks. They have a quarterback controversy right now. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. They discovered Kirk Cousins. And I'm going to tell you something. If it wasn't because of us, they might not have discovered Kirk Cousins. And you know what? Maybe someone would have traded for him. But now they're going to trade RG3. And all the Redskins have, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Brandon Weeden, your time was nice here in Cleveland. Start Colt McCoy next week. Or start the 3rd string quarterback. Anybody but Brandon Weeden. Anybody. Pat Shurmur, you're going to learn to recognize these audacities between these quarterbacks when they don't have it. I can see on my couch here in Youngstown, Ohio, he didn't have it. But you can't see it on the sidelines because Brown Stadium, 5 feet away from him.